So, here for round one. Hand looks good. Opponent's on 6 cards. We're on the draw. Can't complain. Can't complain. We have Thoughtseize into Jace into Souls, which is mostly an ideal start. I think, you know, having a Thought Scour on turn 1 would be good, but I think given how modern it is, you'd much rather have some sort of interactive element, so having the Thoughtseize is nice. Hopefully, since our opponent is now down to 5 cards, they're not going to have a lot of resources, so either we get to take a threat or protect our Jace. Whatever we deem necessary. Blooming Marsh is interesting. Ancient Stirrings. Tron deck. Expedition map. So, looks like Tron. So that means we can kind of fetch with Abandon here. So, we're just going to get a Watery Grave. I guess, I don't have to do that. I could just get a Swamp, probably. Especially since I have the 4th land. Alright, so we get their map. They just have 2 Tron lands. Like, the life is mostly free in this matchup, but it's not 100% free, you know? Like, games can certainly come down to them killing you with damage. Like, maybe they beat you with, like, Wormcoil or Ugin or whatever before you actually get to stabilize, so it's definitely reasonable. But I guess part of it is, like, maybe at some point I want to end up with double white. Double black is kind of a non-issue because we're just going to get to that point. Like, we're going to make sure that we get to that point, so maybe being able to get double white is important. So if I delta for Island to play Jace, it's possible that I end up looting away, you know, one of these lands. And then it'll probably be Swamp, and then this will get like white-black, this will get something. Yeah, that should be fine. Everything will be okay. If it comes down to us hard casting Obsidian, then so be it. So here we have the choice, basically, if we want to flip our Jace or not. I think we do. So probably going to just cast Lingering Souls, but we'll loot first and see what's going on here. Maybe we find something better. So Jace active, can Thoughtseize next turn. Obviously the Nightmares, like, if their last couple draw steps have been Urza's Tower plus Big Threat. So here I think we should flashback Thoughtseize. Ulamog, Karn, Ghost Quarter. Okay, so we'll take the Karn, because that's the more immediate threat. Well, I guess if they draw a tower, then we do have to beat Ulamog, which might not be possible. Like, we can certainly beat a Karn. So yeah, I guess we take Ulamog. And then think for mana efficiency, we just want to hardcast Lingering Souls. I don't think my opponent's really incentivized to Ghost Quarter us, but maybe. It's possible that I should be like flashing back main, but it doesn't actually change anything if we get Ghost Quartered. And if they use the Ghost Court, I think it's probably not necessarily beneficial for us, but it's good, you know? Like, then they're down on land. If they wanted to naturally cast Wormcoil Engine, they can't. So since it doesn't really affect us, there's no reason to play around it. Instead, we'll just give them the opportunity to use it. And in the meantime, Spirit Beatdown. Spirit Beatdown, maybe? I don't know. What's happening? What sort of... Are you thinking about, like, Fatal pushing a Spirit? Is that what's happening? Like, might not be the worst thing, because I've already transformed my Jace, and Fatal pushing a Spirit is not ideal. You know, it's certainly not what you would want to be using your Fatal Push on, but, like, what else are they going to push in my deck? And if they push now, like, you know, it's going to gain them like 4 or 5 life over the course of the game. So, seems like a reasonable plan to me. Alright. So we tick up on nothing. Is there any reason why we should be scared of overextending? Basically just Oblivion Stone. That I can think of, at least. Like, Ugin's going to beat me no matter what, so I'd rather put a clock on them as quickly as possible. Not really going to play around the Ugin minus. It's not like I have a good follow-up to that anyway. Okay, so they have a map. They're going to Tron up, play Karn. And just like, doesn't really matter what they do with the Karn. I mean, they can exile my Jace, but I don't really have a lot going on with that thing anyway. Just get to play another one. Hopefully these souls can go the distance. And if they exile a card from my hand, then I'm just attacking them. I'm not gonna worry about a Karn on 10 when they're at 14. So Go for the Throat is like deader than dead, I think. Alright, attack you. And I think we're just all in here. Maybe not. So if they O-Stone me, having Soul's Flashback is a pretty reasonable follow-up. And if that's the case, do I care about this Jace? Like, if I get stoned, I want to have a follow-up, which is Soul's Flashback. If I draw an untapped land, then I get to play Jace also. If I don't get stoned, they're probably just going to die. Like, one thing to consider is that if they... Oh, maybe they only have one Ulamog. I was thinking, like, if they Ulamog 2 spirits and then Karn another one, then I can't kill them immediately, and I'm at 9. So, I guess staying at a slightly higher life total would have been beneficial if I was, you know, worried about surviving one Ulamog hit. I think we just pass. This is the scenario where it's like, alright, I think I'm winning. How could I possibly lose? And in trying to play around stuff, I need to make sure that I'm also not making myself vulnerable to other things. So I want to play the Delta to get a second white source in case I drew Obzidot. But Maybe I should have just fetched the second white source earlier and then had an extra resource in my hand to discard. It's not like losing the Jace is... Like, I don't think it's going to have a very relevant impact on the game at all, but... Certainly could. Okay, so there's the push. Maybe we thought that they had... No! Why? Why push and then Ugin? I don't get it. Why would you just waste your push? Alright, so they went from nothing to having Card and Ugin. So, not great. Ooh, Serum Visions. Could have used one of those a while ago. Obsidian. Gristlebrand. Gristlebrand. So if we play Souls in Flashback, they just -0 the Ugin. This kind of gives them a way to mess it up. Like, if they just Ugin Ghostfire a token, I get to get in an extra point in damage, which is maybe relevant. I think the only way we can really win this game is with Obsidian, though. And even then, that's, like, really sketchy. Yeah, not a good spot. Not a good spot. Yeah. We brick. That's going to be enough. Okay. Rain of Tears, yes. Ceremonious Rejection, yes. So the spot removal is not great. It's possible that we want, like, a cut for Wormcoil. Do have a Set Adrift. Fragmentize, being able to snipe a map is probably better. And it's not like the souls are ideal or anything. Like, they are threats, but not great threats. So, I think that's it. Yeah, this hand's good. This hand is good. So, do we fetch now because we might want to top both cards? I think that's entirely possible. And we do want a white source, so we need a white and blue source. So now we need to find a black source by turn 3 if we want a Rain of Tears. Which we did. We don't have any graveyard action, so keeping the Goryos doesn't make a lot of sense. So, bottom both. Bottom both don't have a whole lot of cool stuff to do next turn. Do have Rain of Tears on 3. If we get to play Jace on 2, and then Rain of Tears him on 3 and flashback it on 4, like, I definitely like our chances then. But barring that scenario, I don't know. This is not great, and this is definitely a tough matchup, if not one of the toughest matchups. Like, the combo decks, the burn decks, like, you can interact with those. This is just so tough to interact with. So, I guess I have 6 discard spells and 1 fragmentize, so... Rejection is a very good draw. Very, very good draw. So they can't Tron up on 3, which is good news for us. It means that we get to take a turn to play Lingering Souls instead of having to, like, Rain of Tears them or hold up in Rejection. Ah, Gristlebrand. Well, so far, 2 times. Like, if it was an Obsidian, I would have kept it on top and probably won the game. in game 1. And if it's an Obzidot here, I get to play like this mid-range strat where, you know, I slow him down with some disruption and then cast Obzidot probably. So far I am not liking this Griselbrand. Not a fan. Okay, so our opponent has access to Tron now. Pithing Needle. What the hell? Gonna get my Jaces? Fulminator Mage. Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Bah ha 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 ha. Got you good. Since I guess I could keep Omen Rejection. Like if I Inquisition, I might not want to take an Expedition map, but I might want to counter an Expedition map. Yeah, whatever. O-Stone Engineered Explosives. So this is enough nonsense that I'm going to screenshot this stuff. I think I actually want them to play the O-Stone. And then I can set Adrift, Flashback Souls, and Rejection. And then that makes them skip a draw step too, which is great. I guess being able to fragmentize an O-Stone might be relevant too. Griselbrand, you suck. Why aren't you Obzidot? Game would just be over. Alright, well. They did not fall for my trap. I did Stirrings for Expedition map. So here we could put the map on top, counter it on the way down. I like that plan. Set Adrift. Guess we'll just beat him down with these spirits. I'm sure that'll work out. It's probably not going to work out. The hope here is that I then get to Inquisition their O-Stone. And that they don't have a land drop, so... Yep, gonna Obzidot this turn. Oh well. Oh well. Alright, well if you draw Urza's Mine, you have defeated me. Three-turn clock, let's go. Ooh, another Souls? So this doesn't even up my clock, so I don't think I'm supposed to flash back. So I'm definitely taking Ugin. They play Wormcoil, I attack them down to 2, and they go up to... Or I attack them down to 4, and then they go up to 8. Whereas if I flashback Souls, I attack them down... No, yeah, I attack them down to 2, they go up to 8. So, because of the Wormcoil, I think I actually have to flashback Souls. That lets me actually... Well, it actually doesn't let me do anything. It lets me break even. But I think it's worth it. Maybe not. Maybe it's just bad. But again, if they draw like an Explosives or something, it's going to slow me down so much. And my follow-up of, oh, here are 2/1/1 flyers, like, probably not going to get the job done, but maybe. Hey, we did it. Like, brutality is a possibility for sniping, scrying, and stirrings, but it's not very likely to be good on the draw. Excuse me. So I felt like fairly resource light, and I think it's because I haven't drawn pieces of the puzzle yet. Like, I think if I draw pieces of the puzzle, the draw is just like more robust. Like, I have more graveyard action, I have more spells in hand. Obviously, that's a little trickier on the draw against Tron because you need to be reacting to them and whatnot, but possibly I want another Fragmentize. Just like any way to interact with them. And then it's possible that like the souls are not very fast, or I think the Tassiger is fast enough. Maybe the Gristlebrain stinks, but I'm going to cut a souls. Can't imagine like souls on the draw being too relevant of a threat. Okay, I mean this is it. Like this is the draw that we want. And they're on 6 cards, so they're going to be strapped for resources. They're on 5 cards now. Obviously, we lost when they went to 5 cards in game 1, but all right, so they have a mine and a map. Oh man, we actually have the nuts, I think. Hugin Worldbreaker. Okay. They missed their land drop. It's game over. But no, just immediately Tron up. Hugin Worldbreaker. Okay. I think we want to get another black source, so we'll get the shrine. So if they map into tower and then they draw Karn, sure, you got me. I'm not going to like hold open rejection the entire game and not play my Jace because of that threat. So if anything, I want to get closer to my 3rd land, so looting. Okay. All right, we did it. We did it. Don't think I'm going to need this Jace. It's possible that I won't need the 2 Thoughtseizes, but I might. So here I think I'll slow down a little bit as far as dealing myself damage is concerned. Reina Tears that tower. Could flash it back next turn. Look, I have pieces of the puzzle. I want to cast it. So please don't concede before then. Alright. Alright. I think it is beneficial to just Reign of Tears them now. Make it so they actually don't have a threatening potential next turn. So the thing pieces of the puzzle does not let you do is hit land drops. So I guess I Lingering Souls and start my anemic beatdowns. Alright, map is a thing. Map is definitely a thing. How much should we be trying to, like, disrupt them when they can't even cast their spells versus, like, pieces, maybe mill over Goryos and Obsidian? I think we should probably just pieces. I feel like casting pieces is a potentially faster clock than flashing back souls and Thoughtseizing them. But maybe since I have another Thoughtseize and a rejection, I can just like rely on the souls and I don't have to actually go for the Goryo's game plan. But yeah, now they're like Tron back up again. Reign of Tears them twice, just doesn't even matter. Ah, jeez. Like, still probably fine, obviously, but... Just threatening. Threatening things all the time. Silly Tron deck. So 2 Ulamogs and a World Breaker. And an Ugin. I think I need to take the Ulamogs. Well, no, because they have to get power play and then they only have 9. But I can counter the Ugin. And the trigger on the Ulamog is the threatening part. So I think I'm going to do that. Attack for 2. Flashback Souls. And just pass again. It's kind of awkward just like never using the Serum Visions, but I never want to be in a spot where it's like, alright, well I could Serum Visions, but I would have to hit my land draw. Like I'm going to use all my mana, and if I don't hit a land off it, then I get to do one less thing, so I think this is better. Rejected. No thank you. Ah, yes. Have no fear, Gristlebrand is here. I think I'm supposed to Thoughtseize from hand instead of using Jace. I should probably Serum Visions first here, actually. Warping Whale. Warping Whale to kill my Jace. That's mean. So they have World Breaker, Warping Whale. They're going to Warping Whale my Jace. If they don't, we can loot away Gristlebrand and Goryo's it. And I think we should play Jace. I don't think there's any real reason not to. So then, assuming that that dies, then what's my next turn? I probably want a Serum Visions. It is possible that I would want to draw Serum Visions into the land, and then scry, but that would allow me to pieces into a 1-mana spell and then still have mana open for it. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, man, are you passing? Oh, man. This is... Wow. Why would you pass? So they have Warping Whale, World Breaker. Wonder if we can trick them here. Alternatively, maybe we don't even have to trick them. Maybe we can just fragmentize the O-Stone to prompt the action. So what I want to do is just discard Jace, or discard Gristlebrand to Jace, and then Goryo's it this turn, so that I actually get to attack, deal them damage. That puts him to 5, and then if I off my draw 7, if I find a way to Obsidian Goryos, we can just kill them next turn. How did this happen? How did this game get to this point? I Rain of Tears them twice. Ideally, they just stone in response here. And then we don't have to spend the mana on Fragmentize. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, we drew both the Obsidots. So, can certainly discard one to clean up if it comes to that. Could Thoughtseize World Breaker, play some cantrips. And if we're going to potentially do that, we should probably Serum Visions first. I mean, this is more spinning of my wheels. Could also just draw 7 more cards and try and find a Goryo's. 22 cards left. That would put me to 4. If they cast World Breaker, we have Set Adrift, so that's not the end of the world. They do have Warping Whale, though. So I think I need to Thoughtseize this turn. That puts us down to like 2. Yeah, so if we're just digging, I think we actually have to bottom these, especially since we have Thought Scours. We have like more ways to find stuff. Alright, no Goryos. So we played Dark Slick Shores, I guess. Oh no, we need a white source. Alright, definitely discarding 1 Obsidot. Can discard Souls. Fetch land, fetch land. We still have another Swamp in our deck to fetch, another basic, so that's good. Probably don't need 2 Fragmentizes or 2 pieces of the puzzle. So I can fetch a Swamp. So that means I'll have 6 mana, so I could like Thought Scour and play Obsidot. So I don't think I need the Hollowed Fountain. And then, well, maybe I could just like dig with pieces. Maybe that's what it should be. I could pieces to try and spike, and then if that fails, then Rain of Tears them. Which I guess they could Warping Whale. Maybe I shouldn't have even taken the World Breaker because it's so hard for them to cast it, but with all their Blooming Marshes and stuff, but they also have like Sphere and Star. Is Fragmentize ever going to kill anything? Probably not. If they untap and play an O-Stone, I can like Set Adrift that. Yeah, that's fine. Possible I don't need both Thought Scours, but all this stuff seems reasonable. And then our plan, whether it's like Hardcast Obsidot or Set Adrift or whatever, you know, like it'll change determining like depending on what they do and what I do. Okay, so we drew Goryos. They have a Warping Whale, so they can block. But I think what I can just do is this. They have to whale this, and then I can just Goryos and kill them. Perfect. Hey, we did it. We put an Obsidot into play. It only took me drawing almost my entire deck. We did it.